I like to call this one robbing Peter to pay Paul. The Labour Party have embarked on a journey that I can only describe as politics of envy. I think it's time we scrutinise their policies more closely and establish in our mind what a Labour government might mean to the education system. So Keir Starmer and his party have for far too long capitalised on the abject failure of the Conservatives and haven't really had to explain themselves. But as part of their manifesto, Labour intend to charge VAT at 20% on private schools because I suspect they think that people who send their kids there will stump up the cash no matter what, and that these people have money. They will then use this money, Labour, to fund state schools. Basically, they will rob Peter to pay Paul. But what I believe they've failed to realise, I'm not sure whether they've factored this in, is that many people who send their kids to private schools do so at great sacrifice and are in fact paying twice into the education system. I spent my first year of secondary education in a state school. I'll be honest, when I started I was at the top of the class, but by the end of the year I was near the bottom. But then my dad got promoted to a post on Wall Street in the States. My parents sent me to a private boarding school in the UK run by nuns, and my family moved to America. Thank God for the opportunity I was given to go private. At boarding school I grew in confidence, and I'm here now because of it. My father's work, NatWest, and a loan my dad took out paid for my private education. We were nowhere near as rich as some of the kids there, but there are also many children, I would say at least half, whose parents were busting a gut to send them there. And on top of that, many of these private schools are for those with special educational needs, and in the case of my old school, they did a lot and still do a lot in the community. My old school actually has a bus that picks up the elderly and brings them to the school for lunch, and I know this because they pick up my mum, and she's always telling me, "Oh, it was lovely, I had such a lovely lunch, it was lovely. I saw all the old people and make them watch your programme even if they fall asleep." But let's be honest, that'll be probably one of the first things that these private schools will scrap if they need to find more cash to fund them. So when I meet people from my ex-state school, in the main, I've achieved much higher grades and done considerably better than all of them, as have my friends from my boarding school. It is clear that the state education system is failing, but rather than robbing Peter to pay Paul, surely it would be better for the party to improve the state system without destroying the private sector.